Hey, listeners, can you believe we have been producing the Haven Hubcast for over a year? In celebration of this momentous occasion, we are resharing with you a handful of our favorite episodes, guests, and interviews. Have a listen and hope you enjoy them as much as we do.
Welcome to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by Haven, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Haven Hubcast. I am Nancy Sheed, your co-host, and I am really excited, seriously excited, to dive into a conversation today with Kristen Rzasa. Kristen is a life and business strategist. I love that. I want to learn more about it. Welcome, Kristen. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thanks so much, Nancy. I truly appreciate it. And thank you, Haven, for launching this podcast under Nancy's great expertise. And I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. So, Kristen, I have gotten to know you through Haven, and I would say, in one of the loveliest ways, like literally walks and meditations, one of the many things that we do at Haven.
Yeah.
But let's take a step back and before we even dive in kind of what you do now, which sounds like help people on their journeys in life. Could we ask you a little bit? I'd love to know a little bit more about yours. What brought you to becoming a life and business strategist?
Yeah, well, it's been a very, not a direct path. It's been, I have a lot of iterations. I started out in the corporate world as a good little corporate soldier, and I worked in HR and then ended up specializing in training and development and executive leadership development, really, over the years. And I also had during that time a little side hustle. I had a franchise of Jazzercise that I started in 1990. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Trendy and cool and side hustling before it was popular.
Right. So I was working the corporate career, which I really loved, doing my side hustle, teaching Jazzercise, which I loved. And I was laid off of my corporate job in 2002. So at that time, I was working for Daimler Chrysler Financial Services, mainly from the Mercedes side, and I was running their leadership development curriculum. And I do love this side hustle, and I would not have left the nice, cushy Mercedes life with benefits and become an entrepreneur with no benefits. But I thought it's now or never. If I really want to do this, let me give it a go. So I went Jazzercise full time, rented a commercial space in Stamford, Connecticut, and ran that for quite a while. So all in total, I was running that Jazzercise business for about 23 years.
Wow.
And I still actually fill in and teach for the person that I sold it to now and then. But it really got me excited about the whole entrepreneurial world. And now we have so many resources too. But even in 2002, there weren't as many groups, there weren't as many places like Haven that you could go to. So I ran that business, and then I kind of crashed and burned, to be quite honest. I had some medical issues. I was working crazy, ridiculous hours. And I was always telling myself, well, I'm doing like the job of my dreams, not making any money at it, I might add. But I was like, hey, I've got my dream job. I can't complain. I should sacrifice everything for it. And that's really what happened. And so I ended up making the decision to get out of that. And it kind of led me to where I am now, eventually, which is working with people who are burnt out, stuck, overwhelmed, and really need to find a way to get into a new rhythm in their business, in their life, in their body, and live in alignment with their values. Value-based time management is one of my favorite things to talk about. Are you spending your time on the things that you value? And so that's how I have reinvented and what I focus on with clients today.
I love that. And I think I suspect a lot of people can relate to that journey of corporate entrepreneur burnout or breakdown or whatever you want to call,
Yeah.
to then the kind
Yeah.
of rebuild in a healthy way. So that is my new saying to a lot of things. This will not be linear. I'm afraid it takes
I
maybe
love that.
a lot of experience or either age, but I think, we are appreciating we can't plan everything in life is not linear, but sometimes we needed those circuitous routes, right? To
Yeah.
learn the lesson or appreciate, where we came to be. So in working with these people who need a new rhythm,
Mhm.
it sounds like they don't necessarily need to get to breakdown status, but know they need a change. And when they come to you, Kristen, do they know what they need? Is there a certain area or there certain area, what are you looking for to know if it's a good fit or to figure out how you can help them?
Yeah, sometimes people know what they're looking for, but I find more often than not, the what we think is the problem is not really the problem.
Mm,
And the way I look at it and the way I work with people is I always talk about four different pillars, and we've got our internal aspects and our external aspects. So, internal, the two pillars are really our mindset and our energy. And I'm not only referring to how much energy you have in a day, like how energetic you are that day. There's a lot more with energy, about the energy we go into a sales conversation, the energy with which we parent, the energy that we show up in our life with. And then there's the external aspect, and that is our time and our environment. So our time is really where our time goes, obviously, how we're spending our time. And I always say to people, show me your calendar and I will tell you what you value. And people do not really like that. Because
no.
so many times we say something's important, but we don't actually spend our time in alignment with that. And one of the classic examples, and being in the fitness industry for now, 32 years, is health. People say, "Oh, health is so important to me," but yet you don't see any time actually going toward what will be healthy for them. And the environment is what I think of as just about everything external. So it's not just your physical environment, your workspace, your home. It's also the people that you surround yourself with. And that's one of the things that I love about Haven is that it helps to create an environment. So environment is also your community. Who are your people? Who are your support? So when we have a block, when we're working till we're exhausted, when we stop only because we're forced to, or when we're not thriving, it's because either the internal aspect is really off kilter or the external aspect. Usually it's one or the other that has just really skewed so that we're not able to really be balanced or to be healed or to be moving toward whatever our goals and our vision that we see for ourselves. So it's really about creating a life by design.
I love that. And I know it's so funny. I've worked with a favorite author, Laura Vanderkam, and she says,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I was going to say, I'm sure you've heard of her, but she asked the question, as opposed to saying, I don't have time, you say, it's not a priority, right?
Right.
Because if they
Yes.
haven't put it on their calendar, then it's not a priority. So
Yeah.
when you start reframing it that way, people go, oh, if you put it that way, or I can't be bothered to work out, I don't have time to work out for, a
Yeah.
half an hour, yet I can
Yeah.
sit scrunched over in my chair at work,
Yeah.
debilitating my posture, right? And I don't think anything of it and keep saying,
Yeah.
I need to get better
Yeah.
posture,
Yeah,
right? What have
exactly.
I done
I
about
love
it?
her work. Yeah, exactly. That's one of my
Oh,
favorite examples. It's the language we use is that's part of the energetic aspect. The language we use has power. It has an energy behind it. And whether we say, I don't have time for it or it's not a priority for me is two different ball games.
I love that. And how, Kristen, has your business changed or have your clients changed through COVID or did that, I'm not going to use the word pivot, but I think
Yeah.
I think anecdotally, but we're just hearing, as we're knock on wood coming out of this, right? Like we got into new rhythms once we were in this COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
People liked some of those rhythms, right? And sort of said, I don't want to go back. So what does that look
Yeah.
like from your side as you're helping people figure out what their rhythms are?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I agree. I'm trying to avoid the word pivot and unprecedented. I've heard too much
Yeah.
of those two words are like, let's axe them from our vocab. Well, I think, we are living in a brand new world. So it is time to create a brand new rhythm in our lives. And I do think for so many people, it was a bit of a wake up call on what's important and to start really living their values and prioritizing in a way that really feels good. And, I think we had a little bit of that. I saw a little bit of that after 9/11. Everybody's like, what am I doing? What is my purpose? Where
Right.
am I going? And there was like this reprioritizing. And I see the same thing happening again now. And so they do see what they value in a different light. I know, for example, myself, community is huge for me and gathering and, gathering on Zoom just doesn't have, it's a stopgap, but it just does not have the same kind of flavor as gathering in person. And so I think that people are starting to say, oh gosh, this really matters to me. How am I going to, life is short. We saw
Right.
that this year. I mean, it was really driven home personally to me in big ways. So I want to make sure I'm not wasting it, squandering it, and I'm enjoying it because what I also see with people is they start to kind of release that idea of when this happens, I will do this. When the kids are out of school, when I have an empty nest, when I make enough money for, the college education, then I'll take a breath, then I'll relax. And people are saying like, you know what? What am I waiting for?
Right. Right. Use the good china now.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. That's exactly it. Wear the good underwear, use the good china, open the bottle of champagne, doesn't matter.
Exactly. Well, Kristen, in terms of growing your business or in terms of managing your business, as a solopreneur, how has Haven, either supported you or been a part of your journey or your rhythm of your business?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you asked that because Haven has really, I said this recently to Felicia. I said, Haven has truly been a haven for me personally. I said, in every sense of the word. And some of that has been just simply meeting and connecting with other fabulous women and some men too, like yourself, and just, in networking scenarios. Some of it has been working on projects within Haven. I know you were also a part of the Roots and Wings initiative that we launched. I've been helping out with the Haven masterminds over the last year and getting those going. So the projects as well. And business wise, I have several new customers and clients that I met through Haven. So it has actually not just brought me connections and community, but it's also brought me business,
Right.
which is
But
not necessarily my top priority in going there. But hey, it's a great it's a great add-on, yay. And collaborations, I think too. There are a couple of women that I've been meeting with and collaborating with on some projects outside of Haven, and that's also something that I really value is collaboration. So that's really exciting.
exactly. Community and collaboration. I said, look, it's the water cooler conversations that we as
Yeah,
kind of solopreneur, business owners don't quite get. And if, even if we have teams that we work with on a regular basis, it's not quite the same as being in a
right.
physical space, working with people who, have different viewpoints or a different set of connections and everything. So I think I agree with you in that. And also, as you said, the opportunity to not just receive, but be able to give back.
Yes.
And the collaborations, I don't think we found it in terms of what's in it for me. It's wait, I get a chance to use my skill set. I'm all in. I'd,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
happy to help. Or let's see, who knows? Well, let's try this out and we'll see what goes
Yeah.
there.
And that's one thing that I've seen is in terms of the culture of Haven, there is a culture of generosity that is really strong.
Such a good point. Well, in the spirit of generosity, Kristen, if people would like to connect with you or collaborate with you or learn more
Yeah.
about you besides finding you at Haven, what is the best way they
Yeah.
could reach you or how do you like to have people connect?
Well, you can reach me through my website, which is KristenRzasa.com, and I'm going to spell it. it's
Sweet. Excellent.
it's KristenRzasa.com. You always got to pause after the Z. You can also
Perfect.
find me on Instagram, Kristen H. Raza, on Facebook, Kristen Hallett Raza, all of the places under my name. And on my website, you can download a free rhythm reset guide, and that'll get you in the loop to my newsletters of what's happening, all the goodness. And, I'll often put anything I'm involved with in Haven in there as well. So you can find me and stay in touch with me in all of those good places.
Perfect. I love the idea of a rhythm reset, especially as we're coming to the end of the year or the beginning of
Yeah.
a new year. Not sure when this might air, but
Yeah.
I still think it's perfect timing as we're looking forward to how do I feel about this year and or what do I want to take with me into the new year or what I want to do differently. So I think that's a
Absolutely. Yeah.
perfect time for that. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for your time. I always enjoy speaking with you. Look forward to
You
seeing you
too,
again
Nancy.
in person. And thanks everybody for listening to another episode of the Haven Hubcast. Please subscribe or give us a like or review if you haven't done so already. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Haven is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. Haven is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the Haven community online at haven.com. That's HAYVN.com. Haven Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.